Hello noble ones, welcome back to my channel. This is the Metatron speaking, and have you ever heard or seen pictures of the ancient Roman town of Baiae? I've of course just used the Italian name now, but the ancient Roman would be Baiae, and you see that if you Google this, you'll find a lot of incredible images and pictures, and if you have never heard of this, then you're in for a treat. The ancient Roman town could be found on the northwest Gulf of Naples, so pretty much around here on the map of the Campania region. And it was a town that initially was built, probably the early settlements are in the Republic, but I'm not sure about the exact dating. But what's interesting about this is that it became at around 100 BC and then 80 BC a sort of resort where rich and wealthy Romans, including some emperors, would just go to spend time in the natural terme and waters, sort of volcanic waters. Now, one of the main characteristics that you will notice is the fact that a lot of it is underwater, and it's not deep, so it's something that if you are into scuba diving is actually quite easy to visit and see these incredible statues. There are several temples dedicated to various gods. Most of those are above water. There's a temple of Venus, temple of Mercury. There are quite a few, but I think the most interesting parts are the ones that are indeed submerged. And I think it would be fair to describe Baiae as a sunken marvel. As we read in Atlas Obscura, the sunken city of Baiae, in its heyday, the classical Roman city of Baiae was the hedonist Las Vegas of the time, but now its remains are partly beneath the waves. A prominent resort city for centuries, Baiae catered to the recreational whims of the rich and powerful among the Roman elite. The city, which was located over natural volcanic vents, was famous for its healing medicinal hot springs, which occurred all around the city and were quite easy to build spas over. Some of antiquity's most powerful figures, such as Nero, Cicero, and Caesar, were known to have visited the city, and a number of them actually built permanent vacations villas there. This started occurring in 80 BC, for what I recall. Unfortunately, the good times were not to last, as the city was sacked by a Muslim army in the 8th century. By 1500s, the remains of the formerly luxurious town were abandoned. After the city remains were emptied, the water level slowly rose due to the same volcanic vents that were once a draw to the area, and most of the ancient ruins were drowned under the shallow waters of the bay. You know, I sometimes ask myself that if the city hadn't been abandoned, I wonder if something similar or akin to how Venice is would have happened. Maybe we would have had a second Venice on a smaller scale. Today, the ancient remains of Baiae can be visited in one of the world's few underwater archaeological parks. Visitors can view the crumbled structures and amazingly preserved statuary of the city through glass-bottomed boats, snorkeling, or even scuba dives, which allow people to actually swim amongst the copious ruins. Could you imagine that? While the city is no longer a resort, its waters still hold wonders. It was a pretty nice article. Even the BBC has an article on this. Like, as you know, I'm not a big fan of the BBC, so let's double check that they don't say anything nonsensical about it. Still, pretty cool picture. Look at that. Okay, never mind, this article is kind of boring. You can read it if you want. This one is more interesting. So from Heritage Daily, acoustic remote sensing reveals sunken Roman city of Baiae. And this is from 2022. Norbit Subsea and 2B Control, in collaboration with the Institute of Heritage Science of the Italian National Research Council, have conducted a study of the partially submerged Roman city of Baiae in the Gulf of Naples, Italy. Baiae was a fashionable Roman resort for centuries in antiquity, visited by many notable Roman figures such as Gnaeus Pompeius Magnus, also known as Pompey the Great. Guys, Pompey's here. Pompey went to this place. I love this place now. Now the Pompey's there. Great. And Julius Caesar. Baiae was noted by Sextus Propertius, a poet of the Augustan age during the 1st century BC, who wrote that the city was a, open quotes, vortex of luxury, close quotes, and a, open quotes, harbor of the vice, close quotes. And it is important to underline that much of the submerged section is indeed the commercial harbor, or the commercial port, if you will. Due to the position of the city on the Cumaean Peninsula, hence the original name, which was Cumaean waters, if I don't remember wrong. Then they changed the name because I think they wanted to connect it with the idea of having been founded by Baius, who is a character in the Odyssey. So I think the Romans did this a lot. They would take characters from the myths and then they would connect the founding of a specific location with that famous character. So Cumaean Peninsula in the Phlegraean Fields, Campi Phlegraei, yeah. An active and volatile volcanic region which the Romans believed was the home of the Roman god of fire, Vulcanus. Local volcanic bradyseismic activity raised and lowered the geology of the peninsula, leading to the lower parts of the city being submerged beneath the sea. As part of the demonstration within the Baiae Archaeological Park, Norbit Subsea and 2B Control used high-frequency acoustic mapping combined with surface imaging that has centimetric resolution and multi-beam sonar, revealing a detailed reconstruction of submerged objects and archaeological features on the seabed. A 10 centimeters DTM is the first result of the high data density and resolution acquired, a primary record of the current state of the submerged archaeological features that will allow archaeologists to start to refine the overall mapping and measurement of the submerged remains at Baiae, which is absolutely awesome. Look at this. Oh, I wish it was clickable, but we can enlarge it a little bit. Look at that. Whew. As I say, it's not too deep, luckily. I'll have to convince my wife to go and visit. I could begin that sentence by saying, let me take you to a spa. Do you like the spa? She's going to say yes, and then I'll take her here, and I'll say, hey, you said yes to the spa. I didn't specify ancient or modern, did I? The spa.